good afternoon, and welcome to KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM here on KHTS. Our hometown station. It's good to be here. My name is Cary Quashen, and I am your host. And this is actually the Action Drug Rehab Hour. And we bring guests here every week, and we talk about anything from what's going on in the community when it comes to drugs, what's going on in the whole system when it comes to drugs. And lately we've been talking a lot about fentanyl because a lot of people are dying, and it's so pathetic, you know that? Because I was looking at my Facebook today, and someone I know died again. And 1 week ago, I told this person, go to freaking rehab. You're not smarter than this drug. No one is, and he ended up dead. It's like, keep telling people this, and they keep dying. So, I mean, I got to figure out a way to maybe crawl into people's brains, Victor, and get that switch and turn it off so people figure out that no one's smarter than his drugs. No one's smarter than the alcohol. So, but anyways, what I want to do today is I want to talk about alcoholism and drug addiction as a disease and why people do what they do. And I'm going to start with my friend Victor, because my friend Victor has been on this show a couple of times, haven't you?
Yes, I have, Gary.
And it seems like you tell your story. I'm not going to tell your story.
Well, my story.
And if you guys want to mess with him,
yeah,
feel free. I got Jeff on the
Help
right
yourself.
and Juan on the left.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
And Carlos, if you want to jump in, dive in.
So my story is that I got clean off drugs and such many years ago, but the one drug that was left that I wasn't really didn't really think much about it. I wasn't concerned about it. That was alcohol. But alcohol has turned out to be a drug that has taken me from the pinnacle of my life really into a desperate despair over the last 5 years.
I don't think anyone knows what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, basically, I retired. I continued to drink.
Tell us about who you are and what your life was.
All right. Well, I'm Victor Belinsky.
I know you got a whole career thing.
Yeah, my life was I had 3 careers. I was a professor at UCLA for a while. I've taught at the colleges in Ventura County and run some of the colleges, and went from there to.
So you're a smart guy.
Yeah, too smart, I
scholar.
think, for the drugs and alcohol sometimes.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it to you, and I said it to you the first time I met you. I don't care how smart you are. Nobody is smarter than the drugs.
You're exactly
you
right.
You cannot outsmart the drugs today, or even the alcohol.
Yeah.
You can try, you can play, you can let your brain talk you into all kinds of stuff. You'll never win.
Well, and that's, early on in my addiction, I thought
I'm gonna mess with him.
I thought I could figure it out. Never did.
How'd that work for you?
Didn't work at all. I've been to many rehabs, probably in the neighborhood of a dozen, and I'm back in rehab again at age 68. And
I was gonna say you look great for 78. I'm just messing with you, Victor.
Gary. Actually, I do.
You look young.
So, alcohol was nothing to fiddle with.
Before he goes any further, I'm going to say that when he came back this time, we were all pleasantly surprised to see that he had all his functions, because last time we didn't think he was coming back.
Yeah, I heard
and I'll let him explain that, but we didn't think he was coming back.
Yeah, I've been luckier than a lot of people who have gone through the things that I have with alcohol.
I've been doing this for 40-something years, and I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but
that's
I got to say, your story is probably the most wild. I've had ones that were heavier, maybe not, but yours is right up on the top of heavy, and you'll hear why in a minute.
Yeah, well, I in a very short period of time, say over 5 years, as I said, I I was such that all the friends I had didn't even want to see me, even if they were still drinking buddies. They didn't want to see me. That's how bad I was. I disappointed my wife of 20 some years, and
she's like a saint, dude.
yeah,
I mean, she really is for still hanging in with you.
yeah, she had really thought not to at some points, but she stuck around, and without her, I would be in a much worse place than I am right now.
If you were even alive.
If I were alive, and I would probably still be using alcohol. And as I said, it shouldn't be downplayed as a drug because it'll take you down just like all the others. It may kill you more slowly, but it's still going to take you down.
Oh yeah. You know what? Let's hear some of them. How many hospitals were you in, Victor? You guys have got to pay attention to this because this is mind-boggling.
Yeah, over 3 years, I had 5150s, which meant I was a danger to myself and others. I was in mental hospitals 27 times in 3 years.
27 times, and look at him. He's a good-looking guy. He's a professional guy. He had serious major careers. He's still brilliant, but his problem is he keeps trying to convince himself that he's smarter than the system and he's smarter than the alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol does not work for me. I cannot drink even the smallest amount. Besides my 5150s in mental hospitals, I was in hospitals for either just all kinds of symptoms, but delirium at times. I had to be detoxed probably over a dozen times before I could even go to a rehab. I have been interacting, unfortunately, with the legal system. I've been in jail.
You don't fit that mold, Victor.
Yeah, well, like I said, it doesn't matter who you are; these things will take you down. And alcohol, people, as I said, they downplay it, but it's going to take you down just like everything else. I've been in jail 4 times. I've been there as long as over 150 days.
You just came from there to us.
Exactly. And right now I have prison hanging over my head, and if I don't keep my act together, I could be sent up to actual prison for up to 5 years.
For one sip of alcohol, they'll do it.
Yeah, 1 sip of alcohol.
That's what scares me the most. How are you going to deal with that, with your track record, knowing or trying so hard to outsmart everybody in the system? How are you going to deal with that?
Well, I know I'm not smarter than this drug or any other drug for that matter, and I've got to work the programs in rehab. I've got to dedicate my life to being sober, and I got to take it for real because in the past I have not. I thought I could get away. I thought I could find a way around things. There is no way around it. Any alcohol to me means pretty much the end of. I'm going to end up dying in prison most likely.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you start drinking?
When I start drinking, it goes very quickly from a small amount to as much as I can get, and normally it ends up in a blackout. I don't treat people well. I just have no way to stop. And
doesn't it put you in a psychosis?
It does put me in a psychosis where I don't know what I'm doing. I get violent at times. It's just bad in every way.
So I didn't bring you on the radio today to make you feel bad. I brought you on the radio today because I love you. And I want to see you happy and successful. You deserve that.
Well, as you know, Carey, I mean, I've got things I still want to do in life, and I'd like to dedicate myself to kind of what you do, to helping other people where I can. Mm-hmm. But, I've tripped over myself so many times that I've been wasting valuable years trying to get to my goals.
It's never too late, Vic.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping.
I mean, you have a story that anybody listening to, it's just all they can do is go, whoa, how are you still alive? 28 psychiatric hospitals. I can't even tell you how many ER hospitals. You almost died a couple of times.
I actually did die once because I had an esophagus problem related to alcohol, started bleeding internally, ended up dying during surgery. They brought me back to life. It didn't stop me from drinking. I have to tell you, Carey.
What happens? You're at home, things are going smooth. What how does the switch flick that makes you say, I'm gonna go get a drink?
Well, I think I still, in a way, kind of live in the past. I think it's going to add something to my life, but it doesn't. It only adds negativity. It's not something that works for me. And in reality, when I look back at the past, there were some really bad times, but I don't dwell on those. I tend to think of the positive times, which are fewer.
Have there been any positive in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years, there have not been any. It's been nothing but bad things and negativity.
So what are you chasing?
Uh,
Or should I say, what are you running from?
well, I think I'm running from.
Pass.
Yeah, I'm running from probably the past. I'm running from getting older. I
That's
haven't
a
really
rough one.
accepted that,
Mhm.
and still look back and I tend to focus on what I thought were good times, but even then they weren't all that great.
Yeah, getting old can be scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And we look at all the regrets and everything, and the funds that we had. I mean, if anybody tells you that drinking and using has always been terrible, they're lying to you. In the beginning, it's always good. All alcohol and drug abuse starts innocently, and we have a great time till we don't. The problem is, once the alcohol turns on you, or the drug turns on you, it's never going to be your friend again.
No,
It can't be.
yeah, it takes you to places you don't want to be. And, I've been in psychosis, hallucinating from alcohol. During detoxes, I would still be in that state until they could bring me around so that I could actually function a little bit.
There were times where we thought you'd never come back, Vic.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing. It is not anything that adds quality to your life or helps you reach your goals.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say that one thing that impresses me, that I'm really actually proud of you, is you keep coming back.
Well, I have to. I've got a very strong relationship with my wife, as you've seen,
Yes.
and we work together as partners, and we don't want to waste the time we've got left here.
And you got some good times still. I mean, 60, 68, not that old. You and I are the same age.
Yeah.
I'll be 68 in October.
Yeah, well,
We're the same age.
yeah, and
You're just cuter than me.
that's for sure. But
No.
I don't have your sobriety. I don't have your sobriety, but
Actually, if you want to know the truth, you do. You know why?
Yeah.
Because we all woke up today and we all have today.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And anything could change tomorrow. Yes, I have 42 plus years clean and sober, but we all just have today.
Yeah,
So
and I've
today you have what I got.
yeah, and that's what I've
Sure.
got to focus on
I ain't.
today.
I am not any different than you guys. I'm definitely not any better. I'm a little bit older than some of you, not as old as some, and I have a little more experience with sobriety. But that's the only thing different between us. And you guys can still do this thing. You just gotta want to do it. When you were out there and you were drinking or using, you would have done it no matter what.
I went through great lengths.
Exactly. So what my thinking is this: you got to be willing to die to stay sober. If you're not willing to die to stay sober, I know you were willing to die to get high. So it's got to change now. And the scary part of it, and this is Victor's thing too, is most people don't go to rehab to get clean and sober. They go to rehab for a different reason. What's the reasons? Maybe they're using opiates. They need to stop that, or they want to at least cut it down because something happened that scared them. But if I use fentanyl, why can't I smoke weed? I don't even like weed. If I smoke too much weed, why can't I drink booze? If I drink tequila, why can't I have a beer? So that's the thinking that gets everybody back and forth, in and out of rehabs, at jails and institutions. Bottom line is, if you figure out this: if I don't drink anything and I don't smoke anything and I don't use anything, my life will get better. If I do, my life won't. It's that simple. Because nobody's smarter than the drugs, period. We think we are. And then we end up in hospitals for 28 times and psych wards for who knows, and overdoses and craziness. And we wake up in the morning and we don't like who we are, and the only thing that's going to hopefully make us feel better is using, but that don't work. We even feel worse, and then we try to get loaded again to feel better, and that don't work. And we keep doing the same madness, looking to get that same feeling we used to have. It ain't coming back. But this time, I mean, I know if you don't do it, you're done.
Yeah, definitely.
You're done. I mean, you will end up in prison, or you'll end up psychotic,
Or dead.
or dead.
Or dead.
But you don't have another one.
Yeah.
The system won't allow it. And they got you on a choke chain.
They do, and you know, it's a wake-up call. But I've had a lot of wake-up calls. But it's damn time to wake up for me.
How did you feel waking up in jail?
At first, I said, hey, it shouldn't be me. Why am I here? But over time, I realized why I was there, because if I wasn't, I would never have stopped. And it would have ended up either killing myself or killing other people.
Yeah, you would have. That's true. Well, I'm glad you're back with us, and I love you lots, and you know that.
Yeah.
What do you
Carey.
guys want to say anything to him?
I love you, bro. It's always been a pleasure, bro.
He's such a great guy.
He is.
I mean, he really
Easy
is.
to get along with.
He's a really nice guy, man. He's a really nice dude. I haven't even known him that long, but just in the little bit of time we hung out, I can tell he's a good guy.
He's a real good guy.
And a good guy to watch movies with.
Yeah, he's super intelligent too. Like, obviously,
I just don't know that he knows that yet.
he should know it.
Well, that's part of why I come, especially to Action Family Counseling. I mean, we got a good group of people and we help each other, and I definitely need help.
Why? Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, why back here? You've been in so many rehabs. Why do you keep this? is
Well,
your
I
go-to?
come back here because I know that this is an environment that can make me finally realize that I've got to get my things right to work toward my goals in the future. And there still is a future for me if I can get sober.
You are sober.
Yeah, I am today.
So the trick is now staying that way.
That's right.
All you, Victor, listen to this. All you got to do is not drink or use.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
We make it difficult by trying to figure out ways to manipulate that. Well, if I just do this, if I just do that. Remember when you guys were young? I'm going to talk to you for a second, Jeff. Remember when you were young? You had contracts. When I grow up, remember those? What'd you want to be when you grew up?
Dude, I'm to be honest with you, man. My childhood was pretty dark, and I didn't.
But you still had contracts.
But they weren't very much. It wasn't very high, man. I lived from the jump, man. Just from where I came from and my background, I didn't really think like I was gonna amount to anything.
Well,
you know
tell us then.
Oh,
Without cussing. All of us. Because Carlos gets mad at us.
I mean, I came from a pretty. I was born in Georgia, in Atlanta. My parents were both bad. My dad was a bad alcoholic, man. We just didn't have much, man. Growing up, there's always a lot of chaos and fighting. Him going to jail. My just wasn't a very stable environment.
It's terrible to wake up. My father was an addict and an alcoholic, and there was violence and craziness too. So I get it.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. They would tell me, I'd say I want to do things, and they'd be like, you can't do that, or you're not gonna do that. They wanted me to like. I don't know. They always like kind of put me down. I don't know if they meant to or not. I remember one time I was talking about, I was young, like maybe still in high school or something. I was talking about how I wanted to be an architect one day. You know what I mean? And wanted to go to school for it. My dad's like, you can't do that. That's like so many years of school. You can't even finish high school because I got a GED. You know what I mean? Just stuff like
That's
that.
better
man.
than a lot of people.
Yeah, but that was just one like example, man. I was always being pretty much
You never got the
limited,
You never got your support you needed.
No.
When you're parenting people, when you're parenting kids, there needs to be 4 components. Number 1, everything's got to come from love. there's got to be some discipline. There's got to be some structure, and there's got to be support. And when you're told over and over again, you can't do that, you end up believing that,
Yeah, it's
even though it's
affected me,
not true.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with it, like battle with that, like on and off forever. Like I'm just now getting to where like I can believe like I can do better. You know.
And the scariest part of growing up is trying to figure out what we're going to do when we grow up.
Yeah, really.
You know?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Hey, guess what? Me too. But no, you know, the good thing is, well, let's take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to go right to you.
Right on.
And then we'll hit Juan. What do you think?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
good.
Does that sound good? You're listening to KHTS AM 1220, 98.1 FM, your Action Drug Rehab Hour. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour here on KHTS. I'm Cary Quashen. I am your host. Before we went on break, Victor had told his story, and we're going to go back to that in a little bit. But Jeff was just in the middle of kind of telling us why he's here and how he grew up and stuff.
Where do you want me to start, Carey?
Well, you know what? You were walking down the street one day. Remember that? And you looked up into the sky, dude, and a bong fell into your hand and said, "Smoke me." Remember that?
Oh.
Where did it all start?
I've been in a lot of psychosis moments like that. I started doing drugs when I was like, first time I got high I was 11, so it was weed. Anyway, like I said, man, my whole childhood was like really chaotic. My dad was in and out of prison. My mom was like, just, I don't know, she just kind of sucked as a parent, but
She just couldn't figure it out.
she was kind of, yeah, she couldn't figure it out. I'll say that. I don't know. So I don't know. By the time like when I'm 13, this kid's like this 18-year-old dude's like punching me in the shoulder and in the arm, and I'm like I'm high and I'm like not having it. So first time I cut somebody, I slashed his arm open, right? So I go to like YDC for a minute. So and there I just got worse. Started like I was really active as an active gang member from the time I was pretty young, just because of the charge that I had. I was known, you know. So I don't know. I was in and out of that place, in and out of YDC for like up till I was 17, doing drugs this whole time, getting in all kinds just trouble. I don't know how graphic I can be on that.
Well, you know what? What got you to rehab?
What got me to rehab? Just which time, man? I've been to rehab. This time?
How many rehabs have you been in? We never really.
Man, I've probably been to 30 rehabs, man. I don't even know. I've overdosed on fentanyl and like I've died several times. That kind of stuff, you know. I mean, there's really not one thing that got me here.
That
it's
always
like,
kind of trips me up because I get it. When you overdose on a drug, you know, all you know is you got high. Then you wake up and they're Narcaning you, and it's like you miss all the ugly.
Well, one time, you know, like the last time I did, I was out for like 10 minutes. Like they had to call paramedics. Nobody had any Narcan. And I was just dead.
You really got lucky, buddy.
Yeah, but I had this like when I was out, like right before I came back, man, I was in another place, man. It was weird. I don't even want to get in. Whatever. But that one. I was kind of. I felt like I was conscious through, not here, but somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't even believe in like afterlife stuff until then. But anyway, it might have been in a psychosis. I'm getting off track, but
No, you're fine.
I came to and I was like shivering cold. I was like purple. I don't know. And then the next day, 2 days later, I did it again. You know.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
You know what the definition of insanity is? People say it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different, but we don't really expect different. We kind of know.
Dude, I was in such a miserable place, man. Like I think I just wanted to. You know, I couldn't really see a way out.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy.
I think I was just being reckless on purpose. You know, I didn't want to suffer the consequences because I had actually done pretty good for a little while before that run, and like I was just like, man, I don't want to do this over again. You know, like I was done. You know.
Yeah.
But fortunately, no, I didn't die, and
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you're with us, man. You're actually a really good guy.
Thank you.
I don't walk in groups a lot because I'm crazy busy, but I
Yeah.
watch all you guys. You know. And what got you here?
This time,
Why Action?
Man, so check it out. I was in Hollywood. At I was on a run. I was on a run in Hollywood. There's this person that I know. He's kind of like my he's been like a father figure to me, right? He's in the treatment game too, but I didn't know what else to do. I went to his house, right? Just no phone. My phone got jacked. I had a skateboard. That was it. That's the only thing I owned still. And so I cruised over to his house. He's like, I'm banging on the door trying to get his attention. Well, it's kind of late. I go to the corner, fall asleep. He wakes me up the next morning. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Dude, I need some help." And he got me into a treatment center in Van Nuys, and from Van Nuys, went through detox. It was rough. Went through that, and then ended up at Action.
Fentanyl's no fun.
Yeah, fentanyl and meth. Just
It's about as bad as the detox as you'll get.
yeah, it was horrible. And I'm in a psychosis this whole time, and for a few days. Actually, the last 5 years, dude, I've been in one on and off pretty much. So I've been using. Yeah, I've been in some crazy situations, but anyway, I got to Action through this treatment center, and it's like nowhere else I've ever been, dude. I think I've gotten more out of this program than I have a lot of others. I'm not just saying that.
Why?
But just the groups we do, and the counselors, like they're just really personal. Like I don't know. It's like it's not like a hospital setting, or like it's like a real, like you live together. I don't know. It's a little closer. It's like more personal. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like an older uncle or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a family member telling you you're messing up.
Yeah. It's just yeah.
If you keep calling me Dad, I'm gonna get mad at you.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Juan. so no, you know what? But how old are you now?
I'm 33.
You know, you can still do what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
You still can have a purpose, and you got a shot. All you got to do is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And decide that drugs are not your friend.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
And if you do it again, you'll get the same results. It's not if, it's for sure. Or you'll get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get better. Once drugs and alcohol turn on you, man, they're never your friend again. And we chase them. Think it's like being in this terrible relationship with a girl, right? You love her to death.
Yeah.
But it's terrible.
She's no good for you.
It's just one way.
And every time you go back, it's worse.
You get burnt, yeah.
You get burned. And it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you do too well.
So yeah, it's time, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's time, and you're worth it.
Yeah, that's like that part, man. It's hard to like. I had to find that for myself, you
Well,
know.
just
Like,
repeat after me. My name is Jeff.
my name is Jeff.
And I'm freaking worth it.
I'm freaking worth it.
Tell that to yourself about 1,000 times a day. Look in the mirror and keep saying it until you believe it, because it's true. Your name's
Yeah.
Jeff, right?
Yeah.
And you are freaking worth it. Period.
Thank you.
I don't care what anyone's ever told you in the past.
Yeah.
You're worth it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You still have family, or are they gone?
My parents are both dead. Yeah. And the family, the little bit of family I have left, we don't talk. I haven't talked to anybody in years.
Gotcha.
I got a like my family is here. You know what I mean? The people at Action, and my sponsor, and like the circle that I'm in. In LA. Yeah, they've been more family to me than my blood. So
Sometimes that's what family is what you find.
Yeah.
Who you make it.
I
But
found
we're-
them late in life, and it was.
But remember
Yeah.
this. Speaking about late in life. I think you're ahead of the game.
Uh,
Sorry, Vic.
uh,
See what I mean?
yeah.
But remember this, you are who you hang out with.
Yeah.
You are what you do. When you start hanging out with people that are going places in life that is safe and good, you turn into that. When you hang out with people that are on the streets doing crap, that's what you do. And that's what you turn out to be.
That's
So
where
the
I was.
choice counts. What counts now is not all the rehabs you've been in and whatever people told you. It's what you do the day you leave rehab and the decision you make. And this sobriety thing's got to go from your head to your heart.
Right.
And if you really believe that life will get better, because I promise you it will. Can't get any worse.
Nah.
You got nothing to lose staying clean.
Yeah, it's gotten better for me. Just being like clear headed and
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for that, man. Because I haven't even before, like I just recently got on this medication that's helped me out a lot. Plus with the treatment as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for 5 years, like literally, I was in like a psychosis from the time I was like 28, and I didn't
No, I
know
know
how
you were.
bad it was. But
I know you were because when they were calling you to come in, they let us know that.
yeah.
From where you came from, and we said, let's take a risk on this guy.
I thought I was gone. I thought I was gonna be that way forever, dude. I couldn't decipher reality from the psychosis. It was bad, man. Like I can't even. It was literally like living hell every day for me, man. Like I can't even describe how bad it was. But just to be out of that, like, cause I thought that was gonna be the rest of my life.
All you got to do is use, and you're back there.
I know, dude. I know. I don't even want to ever. Yeah.
You're a good dude, man.
Thank you.
Isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yep, great guy.
Thank you, guys.
Seriously.
It's been a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, it has been for
And
me
I
too.
apologize. You've been in it for a while, and I haven't really spent any time with you. I apologize for that, but I've been caught
Busy.
up in so much crazy lately, doing things. And we opened up a new facility in Lancaster. It's opened up on today, actually.
Yeah.
And we're actually we have patients in there now, so it's been crazy. And I'm back in Bakersfield with a residential and an outpatient, so we're opening another place in the valley, so it's been really busy.
Okay.
And Juan, you're on, dude.
I'm Juan. I'm an addict. But yeah, I've started since I was young. Right out the bat, I've been dealing with drugs since I was 14 years old. I started with marijuana, and
That's what I was saying earlier. Check it out. When we're young, we have contracts.
Yep.
When I grow up, I want to be those change. When I grow up, I'm not going to use drugs. I'm not going to do this. Usually, the first contract we break is either a cigarette or a vape.
Exactly.
I mean, no other reason to use it but to be cool, or it's learned from home.
Yeah.
So we take our hit off of vaping and say, okay, it's only tobacco. I'll never use drugs, and it's only weed, dude. And we convince ourselves, and we start breaking contracts, and then it's next we're at a party, and boom.
Yep. And even with I was involved in gangs, so in that lifestyle it comes with drugs. So I started experimenting with meth, and then from meth it went to everything. I went to festivals like raves and did ecstasy, OD'd on ecstasy. I've done this. How I ended up here is basically I was doing Xanax, so I was getting it from a friend that was prescribed. So she ended up moving to Florida, so I had a friend introduce me to Percocets, and there were pressed pills in the streets.
I
So
was going to say, uh-oh.
yeah, so I was getting fentanyl basically.
You know how many people I know that died from Percocet bought on the streets?
Yeah,
Over a dozen.
yeah. I had a Narcan
Literally.
friend too.
For sure.
I had witnessed friends OD'd in front of my face. I had to Narcan them. I OD'd myself. Parents found me in my room. It's been horrible. I never really thought I would end up like this. I was doing it just to sleep, help me sleep, and then it turned to me chasing the withdrawals, horrible withdrawals. I don't recommend it for anyone. It was pretty bad. The first time when I was on IOP, I remember it even came down to even pooping on myself. That's how bad it got. It's
Can you
horrible.
relate, Vic? That's not unusual.
Yeah. So this has been my rock bottom, and I'm happy to be here, 56 days sober.
That's really cool, man. You should be really proud of yourself. How old are you now?
I'm 33 years old.
Oh, same age. Very cool, man. I know your mom's listening, isn't she?
Yeah.
Tell me what you want to say to your mom.
Just want to say thank you.
She's listening. Actually, talk to her.
I know. I love you, Mom. And I love my dad too, because he's the one that pushed me to get I mean, my recovery, like, helped me get into inpatient. Helped me get my insurance, because, you know, the insurance is a big thing. It's hard to get. So, like, for the young kids that are listening, like, I encourage you guys to get a job with good insurance, because you might need it in the long run.
How about you talk to the young people that are thinking about smoking weed or drinking booze?
Oh, yeah.
How about you speak to them right now?
Yeah, like, right now, I suggest you just stay in the path and go to school, listen to your parents, and don't use drugs, because honestly, you're not getting what you think you're getting. You're getting fentanyl. That's what you're getting in the streets, and that's all that's in the streets right now. Like, I've known people that die off one pill, and that's the truth. Like, it's horrible.
The amount of you listen to this for a second. Last year, 100,000 plus people confirmed accidental overdoses died. Confirmed.
Yeah, it's not even the
You
real number.
double that number for the unconfirmed, at least, right?
Yeah, for sure.
About the people that took their lives because of alcohol or drugs. You want to quadruple the number now? At least. About domestic violence,
Yeah.
child molestations, child abuse, car crashes, arrests, murders. It's the number one epidemic in this country. We've never had anything like this before.
Yeah.
And yes, the kids are being cheated because you cannot recreationally use any drugs without playing Russian roulette today.
Mhm.
And if you're even experimenting with drugs, it only takes one half a pill if it's made wrong, if there's too much fentanyl, one hit of cocaine if there's fentanyl in it, and many people are dying from that right now, one hit off meth if there's fentanyl in it. There's no way that you can safely, recreationally, or experimentally use any drugs today. Period. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen. I am your host. I got Juan, Victor, and Jeff with me. So listen, you just said something to your folks. I mean, I kind of like that.
Well, I love them, and I'm really appreciative with, like, you know, helping me, like, finding my recovery.
Tell them what's going to be different now, because you're leaving soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely, you know, like, what's gonna change is the selfishness. That's the one thing. Selfishness is because I've been self-centered, been in myself, so I'm getting selfless. If anything, and just be more a service to other people. Like, you know, like, trying to be a service to them too. Like, 'cause they're getting up there in the age, so it's time for me to help them.
Are you calling your parents old?
I mean, they're not old.
Are you all listening to this? And his parents are listening. Oh, dude.
I love you guys.
Man. You're turning red, dude.
Be red.
No,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, I'm trying to help them out because they've helped me out my whole life and shown me unconditional love. So I'm trying to show that back.
Very cool.
And I'm really appreciative of what they've done. Like, I'm glad that, you know, I've been blessed in my life to have both parents still here in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, if I want to see mine, I got to go to the cemetery.
yeah, a lot of people, fortunately. So I thank God every day for that.
Yeah.
So I love my mama, mama's boy.
So you know what? Figure this out. You're a pretty good guy.
Thank you.
And you're still a loving, sensitive guy. All of you guys. And you don't ever want to lose that.
No, it's definitely.
Don't let the drugs take that from you. And I promise you, if you don't drink or use anything, I promise you a better life. If you try to outsmart this disease we got, I promise you worse.
Yeah.
The choice will be yours.
Yeah, it's basically just living like an unhappy life. Just like, it's miserable. It's misery. That's all it is. It's just a never-ending cycle of
And
misery.
we keep chasing it. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's insanity.
Do you remember laying in bed at 2 a.m. saying why?
Yeah.
Remember
Even
that?
I remember laying in bed at 3 in the morning, a pool of sweat, clutching a Glock, like trying to work up the nerve to pull the trigger. Man, I spent a lot of nights doing that.
I bet I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. My last few days of using, I
Yeah.
spent on a window seal with a gun. I get it.
Yeah.
And I promise you that that will all be better. You'll ever want to do that again. I promise you that. It's a fact.
I can't imagine doing that now, man. Just like, I'm so glad, I just made it through all that. Cause
Yeah. I've been doing this stuff for a lot of years. And I ran psych units and everything else. Nobody really wants to die. You know what they don't want to do?
I just want to get out of that pain.
They don't want to feel the pain.
Yeah.
This is a way out.
Yeah.
And you won't have to feel that pain. It doesn't mean life's going to be great, but it's going to be a heck of a lot better. That's a fact. And it's as good as you want it to be.
Right.
My life's pretty good. I still have problems and headaches and crap I need
Quality
to deal
problems.
with. Yeah, well, some of them aren't even quality, but at least I can face them now.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, oh man, I want to give up.
Yeah.
Because I know there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel, and there's nothing that can be thrown at me that I can't handle. Nothing that you can't handle.
It's true.
Vic, you want to say anything to anybody? I know Lila's listening.
Lila is listening, and we talked about my wife earlier. Her name's Lila, and
Well, she's listening. You want to say anything to her?
well, she's having some issues now, but she's very strong.
You telling me?
I'm telling her. Honey, you're very strong, and I know we're going to get through all this, and I'm finally in a frame of mind where I can be the support that you really need.
Yeah.
You've always been it for me. I'm going to do my best to be it for you.
Very cool. She's a great woman, man, and you're a great man.
Yeah, well, Carey, we talked about coming to action, and just listen to these two guys. I mean, we're working on each other here, as well as trying to discuss what goes on with the different groups and things. I mean, we're all trying to learn together because I've been there from long ago. These guys are in a whole different situation because right now it's deadly out there.
Yeah, buddy.
It wasn't that deadly when I was doing my thing.
No, when I grew up, I mean, we were obviously caught up in all that craziness, but
Yeah.
people weren't dying. Occasionally, somebody died and was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Yeah.
But now, I don't know anybody that's using that doesn't know somebody that's died, at least one person, and hasn't overdosed themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody
Yeah.
that hasn't been Narcan back. If it wasn't for Narcan, that number of 100,000 or whatever the real number is would be 10 times.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I don't know anybody that's been Narcan once that hasn't been Narcan more times.
Yeah.
Been Narcan several times. So.
Exactly. So that means you were dead several times.
Yeah.
And Narcan saved you. So it's crazy right now. You're in a different ball game because you're a little older and you're a professional person. You ran colleges and you were a professor. What do you want to say to that person that's sitting at home that has a good job, that's making a lot of money, but they're drinking and they're questioning themselves?
Well, I think they
Right.
need to not underestimate the alcohol because it's a drug that's just as bad as all of them, in some ways worse,
Some
because
ways
it
worse.
sneaks up on you and just eats you from the inside out. But eventually it'll ruin your life. And, in a good position, and I was in many good positions as far as my careers went, alcohol was always part of it because it's only alcohol. Well, it's not just only alcohol, because eventually it's going to come around and it's not going to be your friend anymore. And once that happens, you're never going to get back to what you thought was fun. You're just going to go down further.
If you have to question yourself, Jeff, if you have to say to yourself, do I have a problem? What does that mean?
You gotta ask. You probably do.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Juan? What do you want to say before we have 2 minutes?
I just want to continue like my sobriety. Just take it one day by day.
How many days you got now?
I have 56 days.
How many days you got?
155.
And you, sir?
I got 31.
That's you got a chip coming, dude. Good
Yeah.
job, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever think that would be?
This is the longest
Not
I've
really.
been sober since I was 14 years old. So I first started using. So
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
life changer.
Yeah. Well, and I think, eventually you can't live your life forever in rehab. And so what we got to learn, as well as about our addiction, we got to learn some life skills.
That's right.
Because once you get out in the world, There's nobody babying you. Everything's coming at you fast.
You know, the staying off alcohol and drugs is the easy part. It's the feelings that make you go back.
Yeah,
to
it's the
it. So
emotions.
it's learning now how to deal with those feelings so that you can be happy with your sobriety.
That's true.
I want to thank everybody for listening, and I'm going to follow up with you guys. I'm going to bring you back on,
Oh.
and I promise you, you're worth it.
Thank you, Carey.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't lie to you.
I believe.
I wouldn't lie to you. You're worth it,
Thank you, Jim.
Victor.
Yep.
You're worth it. What's your name?
Thanks.
Jeff,
And I'm freaking worth it.
I'm freaking worth it.
What's your name?
Juan,
And
I'm worth it.
My name is Victor, and I know I'm worth it. And it's about time to get there.
be back next week. Thanks for listening.